It's hinge drilling time. These are all piano style hinge. Mill circ stuff from Aircraft Spruce. Stainless steel. And I measured out the holes for the bolts. I'm not going to use screws like they say in the plans. I'm getting the washer head Phillips and bolts that go through, and I'm going to use a thin washer and a shallow nut to hold these things on, and threes. So to get them all the same, I drilled the first hinge. And what I did was I cut the pins out, obviously. Measured up where the hole has to be. Line them up. Get them the same. And basically the first one he ends up being a template. So I got one left here. Show you the way I do it. Get them inside. Put them on a flat surface. Make sure the edges are lined up because there's a little bit of play in these things. I just use my vice grips. Get them flat. Clamp them. Everything's lined up. Good. Couple of drops of cutting oil and drill them. And they'll all be the same. Yeah, just make sure they're lined up good. Beautiful. There, got them all numbered. Once the pilots are drilled, that's it. You can carry on. I seem to be having one missing, so I'm going to have to... Looks like I got to cut another one. 2, 3, 4, 2. I should have 3 for the vertical fin and rudder, but I don't. Got my holes all drilled in the hinges. Got a 30-second piece of plywood. Used as a spacer. See if I can clamp that on there nice and tight. And drill those holes. What a joyous event this is going to be. I think I'll do the same thing. I'll countersink those, or get a drill bit number 12. This actually works surprisingly well. Can't ask for any better than that. I'm going to use a drill press to get that perfectly straight. fun part. And this top one is really tight. When you push the hinge in, anywhere there's a little bit of wood goes in there from drilling. Fisher that actually just bolts them right on the top, which you can't really do with the rudder. I can almost see why though. So there. Mark and make sure I got all the holes right. Perfect. Absolutely sure these are going to be exactly the same. Good thing I did this. This one's off. Not much. You get a little bit of end play too, you want to make sure. You're right in the middle of that. Alright, same as before. I got my little plywood 1/8 ply spacer under here. Open that drawer just in case of an accident. Probably better off an extra set of hands here, but it's a nice tight fit. That's good. And again, I raised the trailing edge, shimmed it up enough to get my hinge laying on top. Either perfect. Made in China. Piece of junk. Well, looks like that gave up the ghost. He's dead. Chinese junk. Well, at least I got all the holes drilled before it crapped out. Funny how prepping takes so much longer than the actual job. Beautiful. Beautiful. And I'll tell you, wouldn't want to screw one of those up, even if, I guess if you did, all you really got to do is get a hardwood dowel and glue it in there. Once the epoxy dries, then you can re-drill. That's a nice thing about wood, you can do that and you're not hurting the strength. So I get a nice 16th inch gap, or 32nd inch gap in the, between the hinge and the wood. And it's worked out very well. It's been threatening to croak for a while now, so finally did it. It would stick on. Now it's just dead. You can, I can't find anything made in Canada or the United States. It's like, it's all this Chinese garbage. Yeah. My father's got a drill that's 60 years old. It's all metal. Can't kill it. Still working on the tail. So I got all my hinges set up here, except for the bottom one. So I was thinking, how the hell am I going to get that set up? So what I did, got this nice long ruler, made sure the rudder, everything's lined up straight. I took a, get underneath here, took a 16th inch piece of plywood and I stuck it in the slot I made here, in the lower part of the rudder. So with that 16th inch ply, that allowed me to mark the center for the hinge. So that's how I did that. Getting too old to be scrunching around like that, it seems. There's a lot of pissing around on that tail there. As you can see, I got it all rigged again. And next fun job is going to be drilling those pins. Yeah, 1/8 pin. I had to drill a hole in it for a cotter pin. That should be a hoot. I'll file a flat spot on them and try to go from there. Alright, got my ruler, trued up that line. And then I got my drill, 1/16 inch drill bit, drilled all the way up that line. Of course, I want a 1/16 inch apart. So I got my hinge and my funky hinge slot tool, and I'm going to get in there on the edge and just walk it in to the slot. Those drilled holes will act like a guide, I hope. Tell you, that's nerve-wracking. Yeah. But now I got about 1/4 of an inch slide where I can slide up and down. You see, that worked pretty slick. A lot of time what happens is you pack the sawdust inside, and that's exactly what happened here. So I use this extra blade just to get that out of there. So you can packs in there pretty good, because the saw doesn't give it anywhere else to go. So as it cuts it, it just packs it in the slot, because we didn't go right through. And when I brought these fuselage halves together in the tail, I had a wedge in there, so I got a wedge glued in there as well. So there you go. Spacer tool in there. And that's after that. So I'll stick this in the rudder and see how it goes together. Now I always want to put a strip on there. So as you can see, I got about 1/8 inch there. So that means I can cap the trailing edge of that fuselage the way I want it to. It'll work out well. Getting the slot in the cap will be easy enough. Yeah, it's nice and straight. No pulling on it while I rotate or swing the rudder. That's good. So that pretty much completes that. As you can see, I took the elevator off to get it out of my way. Can't work on it with that thing hanging there. Yeah, did a lot done to her so far this year. So I'm into, December? Today's January 25th. And I got 2 weeks off, so I'll be doing lots of work to this thing. I'd like to fly it this fall, but probably next spring. It'll be more realistic. 2022, if there's anything left of the world by then.